Hello there, confirmands. I hope everybody is doing okay. It's hard for me to believe, but here we are. This is our last opportunity to be together via video for a little while. We are wrapping up our classes here for the fall. We will be back together again beginning in January, but for now, this is our last session, and we are finishing up with quite a doozy, the book of Romans. Last week, I introduced you to this character named Paul, who was formerly known as Saul of Tarsus, but after his encounter with Jesus in the book of Acts, his entire life changed, and he began to work to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ around the Mediterranean region in the first century. So he had some important work to do. And when we get to the book of Romans, we see right away that he has begun that important work. And this book of Romans, please be reminded, was written like 56, 57 CE in the Common Era. So before the Gospels are actually written, Paul is writing the book of Romans. He is writing this letter, and that is exactly what it is. It is a letter to the people in Rome who happened to be gathered in a Christian community in these early churches that were taking shape. Please be aware that the early Christian communities really didn't look like the churches that we have today. There were no big buildings, no stained glass, no beautiful sanctuaries and organs. They were small gatherings. In fact, they were called house churches. These small groups of Christians would come together and gather around stories about Jesus that would eventually become the New Testament, but stories about Jesus. They would share in worship. They would share in the sacrament, because that is precisely what Jesus asked them to do, to remember him in the bread and the wine. So they had important communities and they were doing important work. But Paul is there to help them figure out what is most essential. And what we have in the book of Romans is Paul's statement of faith. Here in these pages, we can read Paul's argument, Paul's conviction that Jesus coming into the world was so much more than just a neat occurrence. Jesus is so much more than just a wise person who has some good things today to say, but in fact, Jesus is this one who has come to transform individuals and also transform the world. Now, how is Jesus going to do that? Jesus is going to do that through Jesus' distinctive brand of forgiveness. So Jesus comes to address this sin that is an ever-present part of our lives. And this is important. You're going to see this in the worksheet. But Paul really thought that sin was an issue, that we human beings were bound to mess up. We're bound to make mistakes. And maybe all of you are perfect, but I got to tell you, every once in a while, I do slip up. So I need the grace of Christ in my life. I need this forgiveness to renew me, to restore me, to get me back on track. And that's what Paul's talking about here. That Jesus' goodness is really a force in the world that continues to shape who we are in our day-to-day lives. And more importantly, Paul contends that this forgiveness comes, that this goodness and this blessing comes not because of anything we have done. It's not because we deserve it or have earned it, but this forgiveness comes, even our faith in Christ comes as pure gift. It is a blessing rooted in love that comes to us even though we are entirely undeserving of it. And I gotta tell you, this really is good news, because God's love and goodness and grace, as it is manifest in Jesus Christ, really can reshape the way we look at the world. When we interact with others, we don't believe or behave as if other folks have to earn our love and affection. We do it because it's the right thing to do. We care for others because we have been cared for. I want you to remember this. I want you to think about this a little bit, especially as we come close now to Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is going to be a little bit different this year. We all know that. But each and every one of us still have a great deal to be thankful for. Friends, family, a table full of food, but also this presence of Christ in our lives. The gift of this community here at Bethlehem is definitely worth being grateful for. So be thinking about that. I miss you all. I do hope you have a great holiday. I'm eager to be with you again here in January. And you'll be seeing me around, church and videos and live streams and all that kind of stuff. But I'll be eager to be back to this work, this confirmation work in January. And I did give you a little bit of a challenge this time. Please be thinking about what this faith in Christ means for you. I want to hear about what your core beliefs are. We hear about Paul's core beliefs in the book of Romans. I want to hear about your core beliefs and why they matter in your life. God bless you all. Please be sure to say your prayers, love your neighbors, and I will see you all soon.